And welcome back. We're back. The technical difficulties are resolved. The series is still
Whew.
on. Team Udyr has won it, and we're back for Game 4. And I'm so excited to see how Team Udyr is going to come up. Is the reverse sweep possible, or is this going to be the last game? We don't know yet. But I'm still here with Anti, and he's going to tell us all about the draft. So what do you see so far, man?
Well, we see the immediate Volibear ban, so they just don't want to let Toximus have that Volibear. They saw what he could do with it against Ace, and they just don't want to let that go through. Udyr, they lost a ban. They're running Antunes, from what I understand. They're going to be taking the Rummel away again. I'm guessing they're going to take away the Kassadin again, which means that Bobrovsky is probably going to have another Rek'Sai game. But then again, the last game, Rek'Sai didn't quite work out for them, so maybe they go for something different.
Yeah, he's been struggling on his big signature pick, so I'd expect that one to fall by the wayside. I wonder why OOD has lost the ban yet again. It could be because of the substitutions, but I feel like since they have a 6-man roster, that probably isn't the case. So I'll wait to see on that, but I'm guessing this is going to be the Kassadin taking away the big picks, and the Nocturne is what's going to fall by the wayside. Honestly, I'm not sure why Nocturne has risen to such a high priority, but it's something they've banned every game. I don't think either team has had much versatility in what they're willing to ban.
So there's the Kassadin takeaway. From what I understand, the lost ban was from swapping champions before, after the 20-second mark, which, according to match procedure and stuff like that, which is something that we have released before, you're not allowed to swap your champions when there's already 20 seconds left in the swap.
Wouldn't that mean the draft is already done? So why would it matter?
No, solo lane champion swap stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, ignoring the weirdness of that, we're still in it. Draven has now been taken away. Photograph is getting his big respect. We've been waiting all series for it, and now Crow's like, I don't want to play against it again, and it'll be something different in a new look for Team Udyr. I'm interested to see what they're going to take first pick, because they've had a decent amount of first picks. They could either go for the Camille or lock in the Nocturne.
Okay.
So I'm happy to see this. Nocturne is still very good. You can play him both mid, top, and jungle, so a huge amount of versatility in this champion.
There's no way, right?
The Warwick? Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way.
Bobrovsky played Warwick in 4 years. So Warwick is not it, but it'll definitely be somewhat a jungler of a similar vein. Ezreal is looking to be the case. Are they going to take so yeah, it's gonna be the Ezreal, one of the best AD carries available right now. Crow is Crow's most played Ezreal, I believe. I need to make I would need to confirm that, but that was one of his most played AD carries. And the Karma's locked in, so the Ezreal Karma lane is it.
Yeah, Crow has played 9 games of Ezreal this season, by far the most played champion that he's played. And Ezreal did just get nerfed through the Divine Sunderer nerf, but honestly, I don't think that 9% versus 12% max health damage is really going to make that big of a difference. I think that it means that the champion is not going to be stupid, ultra busted, but I think Ezreal's still going to be very good. Now we're seeing the Ziggs being picked up, which we saw to strong effect on Photograph the last time.
I am excited. Ziggs is insane right now. This champion basically has no mana issues and can shove and clear waves instantly for free. One of the best champions to be played in the bot lane for an AP mage pick. This is something Photograph has already demonstrated that he's willing to play. So I am excited to see this champion come back out. He also destroys towers in 2 autos. Riot still hasn't found it appropriate to fix that. So it is going to be the Leona also taken in.
Ziggs Leona. Interesting. Okay, so while the Ziggs pick, I agree with it. I think it's great. I think that Leona as a champion can also definitely work as long as you have something strong to back it up in terms of all-in potential. I think this Leona is just going to be continually poked out in lane, and I don't know about that one. The Viego Hover, honestly, a pretty good pick because you can still take that jungle, you can take that mid, you can take that top. Another triple flex on the board. But is going to be the Kayn pick from Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky has thrown down the gauntlet. This has been his 4th jungler for a while. He's mostly a red Kayn player. He doesn't really play the blue Kayn. Honestly, I've been big partial to the blue Kayn because of how good lethality items are right now and how much blue Kayn abuses them, but I expect it to be the red Kayn. But Kayn coming out is really an interesting gauntlet thrown down because now you're put in a position where you kind of have to do things early and get those ganks off to get those stacks. And some of these lanes are really dangerous to gank already.
Interesting from Poseidon, they see the Ziggs, they call it out, they say, no, this isn't actually a bot lane Ziggs, we're banning the Tristana away. And just in case it isn't the bot lane Ziggs. They're going to ban away the Vladimir from Big Twig as well. I don't know. I guess they're covering their bases. I'm fairly certain it's going to be on Photograph, but they're playing it safe. They're saying, but what if, though?
Yeah, and then the trend has continued for Team Udyr. They have 3 bans taken away from Todd Gunsey, really trying to pinch his champion pool. See what he's going to fall back on. If this is Diana, that's basically all the picks that Gunsey plays frequently. The next one would probably be an Orianna fallback, but they're going to choose to go for the set. And this could just be a big gauntlet pick. If the Zed is what we're going to see from Gunsey, taking an assassin, this would be one of the first assassin picks we've seen. Akali is still available if you want to go that route. I think Akali is super strong. I'm surprised we haven't seen either mid laner play it. I know Big Twig is an Akali connoisseur, as it was, so he does have the potential to pull that out. But if this is the Zed, then they're really banking that the Ziggs is mid, and it could easily go bot lane.
All right, so it is going to be the Wukong. One of the big things about the set takeaway is that if you take away set, then that opens up full tanks like Ornn, like Cho'Gath, big beefy champions that won't do much in terms of laning, but can just stand there and take a beating. So that tells us that, like, hey, maybe Nocturne's not going to be going top. Maybe it's going to be mid. Maybe it's going to be jungle, because you're likely going to have a tank somewhere if you're banning away that set. So they're taking the Lilia again. Soximus Lilia, one of their favorite picks. One of Found's not so favorite picks, as we've discussed.
Lily was really popular back in the day. Because Kayn used to come in as a counter pick to Lilia just because of the ability of Kayn just to obliterate her. So if the blue Kayn is what comes in, that could be kind of disturbing. But Soximus has been very effective on the Lilia. He does find those kills into the early game. It's just the scaling of the champion hasn't been the best. It has a huge damage fall off. And is this going to be the first time Gunsey's hovering the Akali? I would love to cast an Akali if this is what's going to be the selection. One of the most aggressive AP assassin pick, but it looks like he's hovering around trolling a bit for a lot of different options that he's having.
Yeah, and the Camille pick here, while it is a comfort pick into the Wukong, I'm not too sure if I necessarily agree with the set ban if you're planning on picking the Camille, because Camille, in my opinion, was used very strongly last game to answer to the set pick. And they're going to take a Sylas, so they're calling out, they're saying, all right, we know that Nocturne's going to have Paranoia, we're just going to hit Paranoia and then ulti twice with Wukong on top of that.
Interesting decision to take the Sylas, because that the Nocturne is what's going to be selected in the mid lane. Sylas into Nocturne is not a good matchup for the Sylas. Nocturne's one of the very few champions that can brute force him, especially if that spell shield accidentally hits that Kingslayer and Sylas doesn't get the healing he's expecting from that. So interesting decision. Really, the gauntlet's been thrown down by Gunsey, saying he can win any lane matchup because he's taking some disadvantageous matchups in a row. But this bot lane is really, really good, and I cannot wait for the different style that we're seeing from both teams. And we will find out just as game 4 is about to begin between Team Udyr versus POG.
Yeah, and one of the big things here, right, is that we've seen Gunsey play the Wukong, so maybe it's Wukong mid. No, it is still going to be the Sylas mid. So we're seeing the swap version, like we saw in game 1. We saw Gunsey playing the Wukong into Big Twig Sylas, and now we're seeing Big Twig playing the Nocturne into Gunsey's Sylas.
And for those of you who don't understand how Ziggs works or why he's coming back into the meta, basically his damage and his mana scaling was buffed. He does a lot more damage with his R, and that's why Leona was one of those picks selected. If Ziggs full combos is Squishy Champion with Ludens, it's just goodbye. And Leona is one of the very few champions that can lock down someone long enough to be able to full combo. So I like the selection. It's going to make this early lane not as bad as it could have been, since Ziggs can wave clear from extremely long range, and he isn't punished very much by being shoved under his tower. So Photograph having this versatility, this could be big for the rest of the series if they manage to take this game, and Ziggs is going to be a priority pick.
Yeah, one of the big things here to me is that, Photograph and Antunes have been taking... once again, by the way, we have Antunes playing support, so we're getting that synergy back on point. So Photograph and Antunes have been taking Exhaust Ignite in every single laning phase. Honestly, with the Ziggs pick here, I would not be surprised to see, a teleport come out, something along those lines. But, that doesn't mean that if Bobrovsky or Crit Addict get on top of Photograph, there's not really that much that they're really going to be able to do because of the exhaust. But I don't know. I just feel like he could get so much more out of teleport.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the times where teleports could have been taken on the Ziggs, but generally they do this just to make the lane match very
Mhm.
neutralized, give Photograph that extra survivability because heal is very good in the early game 2v2, but doesn't scale as well as the exhaust does in the mid game. Now, if he gets that exhaust onto a Wukong ulting in, that could be massive. But yeah, already in the lane they are going to get shoved in, but Ziggs doesn't really care about getting shoved in early. He's just going to farm up these minions and be very fine, as this is where we're looking. It's going to be on Ecto and Crow to really punish this lane and make it so Ziggs is struggling in the mid game.
And Big Twig, enjoying himself in the mid lane, not doing badly for himself, getting an early health lead, poking down Gunsy and healing up off of that passive repeatedly. So got 2 stacks on the corrupting pot there, so doing quite well for himself. But Gunsy going right back in. Oh,
And this could just be Gunsy just dropping, as that's going to be Big Twig picking up the first blood. That once that fear comes out, there's a lot of damage that can follow it up. And a trade kill with the wave being pushed in could be kind of advantageous for both sides, but they both have teleport, so they're going to be looking to come back into the lane. It looks like Big Twig is going to opt to hold his, hoping that the wave has bounced. It looks like Silas is under the tower, so a really well played one solo kill and an advantage picked up for the side of Big Twig being able to get an early solo kill.
yeah, and Django, once again, going to be doing a great job on this Camille, playing very strong in this top lane. And this time opting for the Ignite instead of the Flash means that they're a little bit more vulnerable, but because it's Camille, it's still going to be really hard to punish. And Gunsy going in for
Gunsey's gonna get
another
feared up.
trade.
He's gonna take a lot of damage. The Conqueror is procced, and yeah, these two mid laners have been trading constantly in basically every lane that they've been. So I'm not surprised that they're continuing to do so far. But now the stun has been locked up on Fat Ecto. He's gonna take a lot of damage. He's ignited, so any more follow-up damage will be the end of him. But that's gonna be Antunes now taking a bunch of autos. Karo's exhausted. The Q is not gonna land onto Ecto, so that's gonna be. But now Bobrovsky is behind Big Twig. There's no flash available, so now he's gonna be up to see how much damage he's gonna do, and that's gonna be Gunsy picking up a second kill. So once again, Big Twig is being punished in this mid lane, as now the fighting has continued, as Crit Addict is going on to Django, but you're in the minion wave, and that's going to be a solo kill picked up by Django, as he's found it yet again, and a teleport is coming down. This is not the end of it. Crow has no arcane shift. There's no way for him to get out, and Lilia is here. This is going to be bodies dropping as the flash has come in, but this is not going to be Crow surviving, as this is going to be him being into the death chamber, as once again Socksmith is handed some early kills.
Now, Socksmith getting those early kills. Unfortunately, Big Twig TPing down a good TP, makes the field goal with the Q and doesn't pick up anything on that end, with the exception of the EXP. Now, the EXP really big for Nocturne, but not getting any assist there honestly hurts a lot.
Yeah, and it looks like the fear is landing, and the Kingslayer was absorbed by the spell shield. So really good spell shield on the side of Big Twig. He's gonna get this lane in, this minion wave in, as he really desperately needed that. His lane was in a pretty bad spot. He's gonna take a really intelligent base here, another cheater recall, be able to catch the next wave now that the big wave's at the tower. So he's definitely in the avenue of catching up very soon. Especially now that he has that Executioner's Collar picked up, as Photograph is taking a bunch of damage. If he needs to dodge this last Q, Antunes is going to flash in front. It looks like that is going to be all she wrote, as Antunes is going to get a stun damage. A lot of damage taking one of those minions on Crow. But yeah, that's going to be Photograph basing. He's made it out, and he has gotten the lane in a pretty decent spot where Ziggs can have control off this next back. Because now that the last chapter comes in, the mana issues are gone, he can just push forever.
Yeah, and Django taking Ignite in this top lane, honestly, a really good choice, as long as he can play safe enough that Bobrovsky can't do much about it. Because once Wukong goes invisible, one of the ways that he's balanced is the fact that he can go invisible, he can dodge auto attacks, due to you not being able to click on him. But Ignite revealing the Wukong means that that clone really isn't going to be doing too much outside of the added damage output, but not really going to negate anything.
Yeah, he is not going to be in. Django's taking a lot of intelligent rune choices. The bone plating is pretty good against Wukong because of how his Q works. So he has really been able to punish this lane. Already has a big advantage in the CS department, as now they're all just looking for Gunsy, and this is a level 6 Nocturne, and this is everybody here, and Gunsy's just going to kiss his life goodbye as the 3-man goon squad has come in, and Django's going to pick up another kill. Now Bobrovsky's kind of caught out a little bit. He's still level 5. Socksmith has a whole level advantage on him, a big CS advantage. This Lilia pick is doing work, as this is going to be a free dragon picked up by the side of OOD.
Yeah, and the Lilia pick actually coming in very handy here, where they're getting their early leads, they're transitioning into a dragon, and they're getting stuff done across the board.
Absolutely. And this is the first game that POG is playing this series where they don't have readily available gauge on their support. Antunes is going to have the main engage, so it's going to be really big on how well Crow can play with this Ezreal. He's going to need to be very, very useful. But it looks like they're not finding that many avenues in so far, as OOD has managed to turn around a bunch of plays in a row. And the lanes that are usually suffering, like in the mid and in the top, are basically reversed, so you're not even getting a massive advantage with a Camille who's just as strong as a Silas. And Big Twig's going to be taking a bunch of damage. He's been struggling, but Gunsy's just going to go back in. He's trading his life for this guaranteed, as the W is going to be landing. He's praying that Kingslayer comes up. It looks like he's not going to have it in time, as that's going to be another kill picked up on Soximus. On the bot lane, Antunes is dropped, and this is just a punish on the bot lane. But is this going to be even amount to anything if Ziggs can just clear this wave for free, as you now have Soximus getting that wave push all the way in for his mid laner to help him out to make sure he's still going to be in a decent spot.
Yeah, Photograph, as we've detailed, is comfortable playing the Ziggs here. Unfortunately, the Leona pick, while it will be very good outside of the laning phase, is going to be punished very hard in this laning phase, playing into two poke champions. And it is just going to be very difficult. The moment she hits 6, she can start threatening and engage, but being kept at level 4 here is going to make it really difficult for Antunes to really do too much.
And the CS advantage is coming through. The big thing is they're gonna try to hope that they can eventually neutralize this mid lane, as Gunsy's been finding advantage after advantage, picking up solo kills, picking up aggressive plays. Ever since Big Twig got that first play, he's been suffering in the CS department ever since. And now you're in a position where Crow is going to get locked down. He's going to get hit by the bomb, and the boom has come in. Big Twig is fine, and that is a bunch of damage onto this onto Fat Ectomorph. He is going to drop, and Big Twig is going to find it with a really good roam, picking up a kill on the side lane.
And as we said, Big Twig is struggling a bit, but those Nocturne roams, incredibly effective. And they play that really well. The moment that Antunes gets an in, then they have a way how to make something happen. It's just a matter of when you can't engage, you're just going to be sitting there.
Django just kills Cridatic on the top side. Let's see exactly what happens. This looks like Django took a good trade into Crit Addict and then a disadvantageous walkback. So Crit Addict is going to get all in. The Ignite's going to come down. There's basically nothing that he's going to do. Q2 is there, and that is just Camille brute forcing it. Crit Addict has been suffering in the series against Django. This man, I don't know how he went unscouted, because he's been such a pivotal pickup for Bob Jones. For OOD, and it's amazing that he's still considered a sub.
Yeah, and one of the big things here is that this is Conqueror Camille. This isn't Grass Camille. She's not just doing one poke every now and then. This Camille is looking to scrap.
Yeah, and they're going to drop the Rift Herald a little early, so they might not be able to get the tower. Silas is on the way, so they are going to need to be running for their lives, as Kane is also there. The plates are going to be collected up. Look at the gold in Bob in Django's pocket. He has a right to throw that emote. He's going to come back to base with a big completed item. He went Trinity Force last time, so I expect that's going to be the avenue he's going to be falling in towards this one. But if he comes back with Triforce, then that is going to be no easier for Wukong to play against. And it looks like they might as well just keep the Silas up there to even have a chance at fighting him.
Yeah, at this point, what do you do if you're Crit Addict? Cool, you can ult twice, you can go invisible, but it doesn't matter because, Camille dodges one ult with Ultimatum, and if you go invisible, she just ignites you and then kills you anyway. This lane has gotten so difficult for Crit Addict to play, and if you swap down into mid lane, Big Twig can do the same thing. If you go invisible, you're still tethered by the Nocturne. So, there's just so little that you can do in Crit Addict's position here. But, as we discussed earlier, Wukong as a champion, it doesn't matter if you're too far behind, because what you need to do is get into the backline and draw aggro. As long as your AD carry is doing fine, they can output damage and they can get ahead, then you should be in a perfectly fine position here. Crow has 2 kills, picking up a lot of CS. And while, Crow did die once, it happens, still very confidently in the lead. And this is one of Crow's most comfortable AD carries.
Yeah, and the lane is definitely going to be in a struggling point. It looks like Django is probably at the point where he could just tank the Wukong and take the tower, and that would be very concerning as the Q2
Oh
is going to
lord.
land in a big amount of damage. The shield just absorbed the tower shot. Wukong did nothing there, so this is kind of concerning, especially that Ignite's going to be up in a couple ways, and he could just get straight up dived under tower.
Yeah, I think at this point you just drag Bob Rossi
Yep,
up into
Q2
the top
again.
lane. I feel like you just drag Bob Rossi up into the top lane, you back his crit addict, and then like maybe try and make something happen with a TP back, but like
Yep.
otherwise, Django's probably just gonna look for a solo kill, while Gunsey continues to take these good trades out in the mid lane.
Yeah, but it's not really amounting to as much of an advantage as you would need. And while you Ecto, that was a good trade on the side of thing, you have the Wukong who's taking a base timing. He wants to have that health advantage if he needs to teleport in. But now you have the Camille who's just proxying the wave, and this could easily just be first tower giving over. She can just zone the Wukong off the tower and make him lose so much experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at this. This is disgusting. Django, let him breathe, man. Let him breathe. He's losing a bunch. He lost a full wave of experience. He's going to be even further behind in that avenue. He's going to pick up 2 minions. Right now, they're just both calling their mid laners to come help. As this is it's going to be the next avenue of contention. There's probably an auto and a half on that top tower before it drops, and that's going to be first tower advantage. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the only lane where any plates have been even picked up.
Yeah, and one of the big things is that Django decides that first tower with plates isn't necessarily going to be worth it. What's more worth it is forcing Crit Addict to stay in lane to defend that tower. So that way you can, deny more farm, still get like really easy trades, and eventually the top tower is going to fall anyway. That gold's going to go into your pocket. But the longer that tower stays up, the longer Crit Addict has to stay in lane, and the more helpless that Crit Addict is going to feel.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is not where POG wants to be. Despite the 4,000 gold lead that's just been accrued by the side of OOD, as this is going to be a quick trade onto Crit Addict, with Bobrovsky moving up, but he could just they could just get 2v1 here. I don't know if this is what you want to do, as that is Django hopping in. This is a Conqueror proc Camille, so goodbye to the Wukong, and it looks like they have not given up on the fight, but they know that help is on the way. The sleep is coming. Goodbye, Bobrovsky, as you found your way into the Death Chamber, and Gunsey's going to follow you, and that is a bunch of damage taken up in a big fight for the side of OOD.
Yeah, this Camille pick's been doing so much work. While I'm not too sure about the set ban. The Camille pick itself has been doing like an incredible job here, and I don't know if Poseidon Gaming really have an answer to it. Like right now, Tridac looks kind of lost.
Yeah, the answer is going to have to come into that ban column, as now Ecto is going to be running out. This is a bunch of series of misadvantages. Ecto is going to be forced to flash out. The teleport is coming in, but they're trying to burn the tower. It looks like they're not going to make it, but Ziggs is going to come in with the satchel and make sure that it drops. This is a really, really difficult spot. It looks like Kane is at 14, 15 minutes into the game and still hasn't gotten his transform, so you have a weak, untransformed Kane. Kane is not even the same champion before he gets that, so... This is not the point of where you want to be. And Camille is so strong. If you walk up there as Bobrovsky, you could just easily be facing your death chamber if you try to fight this Camille 2v1.
And interestingly enough, we see the tier being picked up by Kane, despite the fact that they also seem to be itemizing for Rust. I'm not too sure if the Muramana pick on top of the Gordringer is the play, but
As Photograph is going to be engaged, that's a bunch of damage coming. He's going to have to dodge his ultimate, and he's going to barely get away as the flash comes out and prevents himself from dying. And this is the really thing. The Ziggs ultimate is available. He could easily just use that to clear the wave and make sure nothing's going to happen. But now Gunsey is going to be fighting. You cannot take this Camille. You need to be concerned. If an E lands, that could just be it for you. So there's a lot of control that Django has managed to put out. Wherever he goes is where the power is, and OOD has it in their back pocket right now.
And one of the big things here is that, like, while Photograph had a burn flash there, they still managed to push out the wave. They're going to Dragon. Poseidon Game didn't really get much off of that. Like, they got Ziggs flash, and that's it. They didn't get any advantages out of it. They couldn't really push for anything. And Ziggs is still just going to continue to farm up. He's got the Luden's Echo. He's very comfortable where he is right now.
And the dragon stacking is on. You're looking at like a 26-minute soul if they get them all at spawn, so Honestly, what can you say? This is just a stomp right now by OOD. They won every lane. Even the bot side is at the point where you have a Ziggs with Ludens. So good luck trying to push that tower. And what can you say? They just came out this game swinging.
Yeah, they have their picks saved away, and they decide, hey, we are one game away from elimination. We got to make this work. And
Crit is trying not to be eliminated himself, as he's going to use his ultimate to get away. When Wukong's ulting away is a desperate spot, as the Ziggs is just clearing waves from across the map. He's going to be in this 2v1 lane, no problem. It looks like Leona's going to never have to appear in lane again, as now the Rift Herald has been picked up. Every objective has just been taken by OOD.
Yeah, there is absolutely no way that they could match the wave clear of Photograph without burning literally all of their mana. And like Photograph is very content to just kind of sit here and farm up. And the only way that they can do anything about it is if they can threaten to dive, but I doubt that they'd be able to get Photograph low enough that they could do it on their own.
Yeah, it even gets even harder as now Camille is bot lane and Ezreal is running. It looks like the Hextech Automato was slightly out of range, so Ezreal is going to be thanking his lucky stars that he wasn't found out there. But this is just OOD grouping around this bot tower. Bobrovsky does have Rost available, but if Antunes pushes up a little bit too far aggressively, he is in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to flash out. The R is not going to land on anyone, but he's so tanky. He's taking so long to kill. He's still alive. This is a bunch of damage coming in, and now Rost is going to be overcommitted. Bobrovsky has gone over, and he's just going to drop trying to get into them. And Jesus, Leona just tanked 4 members for 5 years.
Yeah, and mind you, this is a Leona whose main source of tankiness is a Kindle gem and her W. There is one cloth armor. There was one cloth armor on that Leona.
Yeah, that shield was unbreakable. It looked like she had Alistar ultimate the way she was taking up all that damage. And now you have Crit Addict, who is 3 levels behind. This guy is not a champion right now. And the Rift Herald is summoned. And this is just really, really disadvantageous for because Gunsey, once this Rift Herald hits, the Satchel can just come out and kill the tower from Ziggs. And it looks like is exactly what's going to be happening. As look at all the poke that's been landed onto Gunsey. He's half HP already. Yeah,
and good old Satchel charge. They're just gonna push right on in, and it seems like OOD are pushing for a strong win here. Crit going right in.
He's going to be caught out yet again. He's going to get that double ultimate taken, and that's a lot of damage that's coming in. He's going to be walking out. No one's really body blocking for him, so the E from Crow is going to pick it up. Antunes has dropped again, being a little bit too aggressively. That's going to be his 4th dash of the match, but his team is still ridiculously strong. Django has so much utility and so much damage. Crit Addict is going to be caught out. He is in this mid lane by himself. If he's fine on the stealth, that could be the Hextech Ultimatum that would follow up, and it looks like Django is going to opt better and not commit too heavily for a 0-3 Wukong.
Yeah, I mean, Antunes getting caught out in the last time was honestly totally fine because they traded a kill back, and it took so long to kill Antunes. At this point, Antunes, you're allowed to get caught out once. If you're getting caught out, you got to make sure that you're getting caught out in a way that your team can trade something for it, but at that point, Antunes just gets caught out, gives up a kill, and just gives away gold for free.
Yeah, there was nothing that could really be done to commit, and they're still in a pretty decent spot. The Flame Horizon has been hit by the side of Django. He's 100 CS above what Wukong has offered. At least he will be after one minion is picked up, what I'm assuming he'll get in just a second. As now Gunsey's getting caught out. He's going to take a lot of damage from the stun. He's going to be forced to flash out. The Fear is still going to land, but that's going to be all she wrote for that trade. Big Twig has managed to really hold on to his lane after he was struggling against Gunsey very heavily early, but now he's in a very neutralizing spot. He's not going to be in trouble of dying solo, and Dragon is spawning in just 30 seconds.
Well, Mystic shot just kind of go a little bit wide there. And it seems like Bobrovsky, despite going Rost, is still itemizing into the Mirror Mana. I was thinking that maybe the Tear of the Gods was picked up as just a way of managing the mana while also still going tank. But this is going to be a relatively squishy Rost.
Yeah, the AD is really important for the side of Ross. I'm assuming that's why he's going it. Ross's healing is based off the damage he deals, so the more damage you can get out of that Q. And Mirror Mana is one of the most cost-efficient items into the game. But I can't imagine he has that many stacks on it. He's sitting at 189, so he's very far away from any transform. And they're really praying for a really slow kind of game where they can get the scaling. But you have Django just sitting waiting in this bush with Dragon spawning. If they walk in, this could easily just be someone's life.
Yeah, and like you said, they're looking for a slow game where they can scale, but you're scaling into Ziggs and what seems to be an Ocean Soul mounting.
And that is really bad for the side of Ezreal, because Ezreal is a poke champion, and with Ocean Soul, he is going to not have an avenue to really do anything other than pray that he's not going to get hit by these skill shots. And you see the power of Ziggs right now. He's basically pushing everyone back by himself. He has so much zone control, so much protection, as Django is just on this bot tower, beating it down to already half HP.
And like Udyr have such a good 1-3-1 split comp right now, because in the top lane you'll have Django, and in the bot lane you'll have Big Twig, who can both join fights really quickly with either teleport or paranoia. And in the mid lane, you have Antunes making sure that neither Soximus nor Photograph get jumped on, and Photograph is just throwing away bombs, and while Soximus throws Swirl Seeds into the mix.
Yep, and now Crow may be throwing away his life as Django has found him, and that's just going to be the bomb landing. And boom, that's going to be Crow dropping, as there's another fight on the opposite side of the map. Ross is going to be in trouble. He's going to dodge the sleep, and now Big Twig has taken a bunch of damage, but Gunsy is getting chunked out. That's going to be Gunsy dropping, and the stun has landed. Big Twig is going to be able to kite out this Bobrovsky, as he's going to be dropping too, and Django's going to pick up another one. Everything POG has been trying has been failing. And as aggressively and as immaculately as they played in the first two games, this has been equally as dominating from OOD, as they could just pick up this Baron.
Yeah, at this point, we're looking to see like we might have a reverse sweep here, and Photograph's just going to take away the inhib tower on the bot side.
Yeah, Photograph is a little bit caught out. The flash is available from the Wukong, so if that comes through, that could be Photograph's life, but it looks like they're not going to heavily commit and let him just get the tower for free and walk himself out. So this is Baron and a bottom tower opened up. A massive 10,000 gold lead already being built up. What can you say? The OOD has found a way to make themselves not only viable, but dominant, as they've been won all their lanes outside of mid.
Yeah, they took those 20 minutes and they said, hey, all right, let's breathe. Let's think about what we want to do. And they're executing incredibly well in this game.
And sometimes in a series, when you see that first two games go down, you feel like, hey, it's time to pack it in. This could be the enemy team just giving up, or just is it? OD has said, we're not giving up. We are not going quietly into the night. And if they pick up this game, then the momentum is going to be completely on their side for the fifth game.
And in 2.5 minutes, that there's Ocean Soul that's going to happen here, because so POG might think to themselves, all right, well, we've got some good champions that will scale up. We can just sit back and try to wait for that. But if you just end up doing that, you're going to end up giving away Ocean Soul in 2 minutes, and the game's going to become unplayable.
Yeah, with Ocean Soul, you can't poke anymore. You're going to be in a really tough position. And then Elder is going to be spawning at the 30-minute mark, around 32, 33 minutes. And are you going to be strong enough to fight then? The answer is probably no. So you're going to need OOD to make some mistakes to gift yourself some avenues back in the game. There is shutdowns on everyone that's not named Antunes, and that could be the avenue to really get a gold injection. But when you're 12,000 behind, the wallets could just be too big.
It's just like the last game, if Udyr get far enough ahead.
Twig, he's getting caught out. He is taking a bunch of damage, but he's been tanking 4 people for as long as he can. Look at that damage to the Bond. And even among all the damage with everyone sitting there, that still wasn't enough, as now this could just be the inhib dropping. Everyone's grouping around this. Camille is just going to be picking it up as the ultimate is dodged. Gunsy is going to interrupt the dash, so that's going to be Camille in a little bit of trouble, but Crow is dashed in taunt with Camille. He's sitting in the Hextech ultimatum, and he cannot get out, so he is going to be in trouble as it's going to be him dropping the Photograph, as they are just annihilating them in this team fight. The wallets are just too big. They cannot fight at this type of disadvantage.
Yeah, it's looking just like the last game. If you get ahead with Udyr's comp at this point, you just kind of run at people and slap them with your wallets.
He's looking to get that gray screen coming in. Crit Addict has taken a bunch of damage. He's going to night, and he's sleeping on his bases. He's watching, and the bowling ball has landed, and that is Crit dropping. Now Ectomorph is in trouble. Gunsy is trying to do his best, but this is just the end of the game, as OOD has picked up Game 4 in 26 minutes. The Stomp is here, and the Silver Scrapes is on, as we are going to a Game 5.
Oh my lord, what a dominant Game 4. Game 3, unfortunately, a cutout. We didn't quite see it, but Game 4, on the other hand, incredibly dominant from Udyr, and we're seeing, as far as I'm concerned, this Camille pick is a menace, and they need to get that off the table immediately.
Yeah, Django is just too good at the moment. He has
Mhm.
won every lane since they put him in. He's been abusing Crit Addict. Look at that difference he's managed to accrue. Not even the
Oh
damage,
my
but the
God.
CS. He is doing everything. And look at Photograph. You said that he wasn't doing much. He's playing Ziggs. You think he's not doing damage, and the bomb comes in and kills everybody. And that's where that damage is coming from. So that is not the type of game, if you're thinking of the morale that you're looking for the side of POG. And they're going to have to get their mental right, because this game 5 is happening in just a moment. And I
Oh
know you
boy.
guys can't wait, and I know we can't wait. So we're going to stop talking and get right into our break so we can get into game 5 as soon as possible. Don't touch that browser. Stay right there.